Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Ken and Ken take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars in the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Question in the voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Ken and Ken in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. We live and loud, that great in the mind. Ken and the bold. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploding like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, they're a force can't fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Ken and Ken in the Morning. Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Yeah.
I was going to say, I was wondering if you were going to get the day right.
Retired people, we kind of forget what day of the week it is sometimes. It's a hard problem that we deal with. No, I know what day of the week it was because I watched Hard Knocks last night.
Ah, shit. I forgot that the new episode debuted. I'll have to watch it today.
Yep. So it was interesting watching joint practice. The Bears were on Hard Knocks again for the second year in a row. And it was interesting watching joint practice, some of the stuff that was going on. I mean, it got a little chippy, as they all do, but not massively chippy. Lots of advice being given from vets to rookies on opposing teams.
Really?
Or young guys. Yeah, older guys to younger guys. It's almost like the Bills and the Bears are buddies. It's like.
Well, they've now played two preseason games in a row back-to-back years. You got to assume they're starting to develop some type, I don't know if I'd full-on call it camaraderie, but at least understanding of each other.
Yeah, baby. Good morning, Big Hoss. Good morning, brother. How you doing this morning down there in Louisiana? Maybe. But it was funny because like Booker was one of the guys. Oh, who's the edge rusher from Buffalo? Got a brain farting. But he was like giving him all kinds of advice. Like he's like, dude, you're a different type of player. Play different.
Are you talking about
Bosa? It wasn't Bosa. It was oh God, what's his name?
Ed Oliver, maybe.
It might have been Ed Oliver actually. And he's like telling Booker's like, dude, you're a different kind of guy, so play different. And of course, Booker's been playing great this preseason. He's taking that next step. It looks like, which I kind of expected anyways. From what the word was when we drafted him last year in the fifth. I was like, this guy shouldn't have come out. He should have stayed in college another year. He could have been a first or second round pick. He developed with the Bears last year. And the preseason, he's looking like, all right. I mean, we haven't seen Dio yet. But if Dio isn't good, I'm good with Booker on the other end for Chicago. But anyways, going back to watching Hard Knocks, the game, they kind of fluffed over the game because it was such a drubbing. But the twos were great across the board for the Bears that game. And the Bills were understandably not happy with some of their performances, and they shouldn't be. They did have some guys who kind of individually made some decent plays, but it's always interesting to watch the reaction from the other side's fan base and the other side's coaching of a game you just played. So that was kind of cool to see that Hard Knocks. But yeah, they got it looks like they got a great relationship to the Bills and the Bears. We'll see if they maybe meet up in a playoff game in the future, in the next couple years. Maybe, I don't know. One could hope for both franchises. But it was fun to watch last night. Hard Knocks over the last couple years has gotten a lot better. Like the way their storytelling is, everything's gotten better. I don't know what change they made, but it's better.
I don't know. I was going to say to me, it seems relatively the same since I've been watching it since almost the inception of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched it off and on throughout the years, but it just seems the last couple of years have been maybe they're just getting better with the cameras. I don't know.
I was going to say that I think has a major thing to do with it because the visual quality of it has improved a fuck ton, but the general premise relatively is the same. And even with the way they go about it, still seems close enough to the same.
Well, yeah, I know the premise is the same, but yeah, it's got to be more on a technical side where it's gotten better.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because to me, it's almost like watching. Holy shit, we've got a Woody.
Going on, guys?
What's up, buddy?
I'm here just getting the new vehicle tinted up. Traded the truck in. Got a 2-door Bronco stick shift.
Oh no, shit!
Whoa!
I didn't even know they still made stick
Hey,
shifts.
so someone got the anti-millennial theft, the anti-theft device for millennials. There we go.
Hey, but below
Aye,
that,
aye,
some
aye.
of us still know how to drive stick shift.
I just miss it, and my GM traded in his. He bought a Ranger, and he's like, "Woody, I know you wanted my Bronco. I don't know if I want to hand it in." I was like, "Thanks, you fuck. You got me all hoped up." I took the Ranger home, and he said, "You know what, Woody, we'll do it." And yeah, it's a nice little vehicle. I like it. So what's going on?
Did you watch Hard Knocks last night?
No, I didn't. I worked late last night.
Yeah, if you get an opportunity, watch it. You know, they covered the joint practice with the Bears. Actually, the Bills looked really good at joint practice against the Bears D. Like, you know, I mean, that's why we didn't hear so much out of camp last week about the defense, because of course, Hard Knocks is going to cherry pick what they show for the Bills. But so they made a couple nice plays against the Bears 1D in practice. But it was a good episode. It was weird to see the Bears on Hard Knocks again this year, but doesn't that violate some rule? I don't know.
I know it's preseason, but preseason, regular season, you shouldn't get fucking shut out if you're a professional sport.
Yeah.
Lot of great, like, I can see Booker starting, dude. I'm sorry. He keeps going. I can see him start.
I was just saying that, and I think it was one of the vets from, I'm brain farting who it was, from the Bills, was telling Booker, I was like, dude, you're different, so play different. He's like, you're a different kind of guy. You just you're a different type of player, so play different. Booker's taking that step, I think. Good morning, Cam. Good morning, Joe.
I was ready to, even though it's preseason, I was ready to put my fucking fist to the TV. That was such a bad call, roughing the passer. Listen, he was shedding a block. He was actually behind the quarterback, and he just lunged out, and he didn't even put his weight on him. And he said it's roughing the passer. I'm like, here we go with the goddamn refs already.
Here's what I didn't like about some of the roughing the passer calls. The guy is in flight. The guy he takes off when the quarterback still has ball in hand. Right? In the nanosecond before he hits him, the quarterback releases the ball up, roughing the passer. It's like, what? Is he supposed to stop a full second before the guy throws the ball? I mean,
and how
he's Superman and pull up.
And can you really, during mid tackle, not put your weight on the guy? Like, I mean, that's fucking hard.
I think guys now, though, even when they tackle and they know they've got a clean shot, don't put their weight on them anymore because of that. I think edges, there we go. Good morning, Matt. Are not throwing their full body weight on guys when they tackle anymore because of the penalties.
Oh, not even just that. You're seeing now, I saw it at least a couple times last year, where you're getting these defensive ends, instead of tackling the quarterback, they're just shoving them instead. Yeah. And you got guys that are bouncing around like a pinball, and I didn't go down. Well, I can still throw the ball.
Well, pretty soon that'll be roughing the passer too.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
You pretty much just got to poke the guy, and that's it.
I know all Bears fans want, like, what we want is winning games and shit like that. But it seems like after last week, the improvement of this week, again, our rush defense would look better this week, even though we didn't go up against James Cook. But our specials teams coverage got a lot better this week. Still got to shape up those pre-snap penalties. That's the only complaint I have from the Bills game last week. That's the only complaint.
Yeah, I mean, it's preseason. I'm not
hard to complain about a 38-0, huh?
I know.
Yeah, don't yell at me. Don't yell at me like Mike did. Fucking please. Like, I'm not ever happy.
Something.
It's preseason, so
Usually,
like, it's like,
38-0, dude. I don't care. Like, you win 38-0. So what?
Eric.
Right?
Stop, Eric.
and, it's preseason, so it's not
Hey,
like
Woody,
oh my
are you
God,
drinking a White
break
Claw
out
at 11 o'clock?
No, Coors Light. I'm kind of cut it down a little bit.
So it's preseason, so it's like don't break out the championship banner yet.
No, not at all.
However, they played a very technically sound game, which is my takeaway. The score is irrelevant, right? In a way, it's for me the score was irrelevant. It's how did the guys play? They played very technically well. They executed. They were sharp. The penalties were down. The Dahlman holding penalty was kind of, even the commentators were like, well, that's kind of questionable, but okay, fine. I wish we would have seen the one pass rush from Buffalo, but the first look at the line was they held pretty well together. So yeah, I mean, it looked good technically. I mean, is it going to, but we still got to see what happens week 1, week 2, and oh my God, Dorn.
Here we go.
Dorn, I've maintained the same, so whatever.
Now, Ken, I wanted to ask you, any word on Terrell Smith yet?
You know what? As of yesterday morning, no. But let me look it up right now because I already think I know what it is.
Yeah, non-contact injury, knee. You're fucked.
Yeah.
So, but they usually mention that. They usually have their scan on Monday, and we usually know right away. And now it's Wednesday. I didn't hear nothing yet.
With it being preseason, they take a lot longer to announce the injuries, like to give the actual full detail of it.
They haven't released anything. The only updates from 2 days ago that he was carted off the field. It's like,
yeah.
Oh,
So in my eyes, no news is good news, right?
No.
It means his whole knee is completely exploded now.
Yeah, right.
I mean, look. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. It's like we've seen enough football now where we kind of know when we see it. It's like that had best case scenario that was a sprain, but it looks like it was an ACL.
Yeah, non-contact. Yeah, that's like when Barkley. I remember when he was on the Giants and he played against us and he was running up the right side, non-contact injury, tore his knee up. So yeah. So
what you're talking about, Woody, is what's going to happen to Barkley again this year because of the Madden curse.
Madden curse, yeah. And I don't wish an injury on it. I don't wish an injury on anybody, but it's a Sheagle. But that was one of Ken. That was one of our, questionable positions because with Jalen Johnson doing what his thing is. So I had high aspects on Terrell Smith. So that's going to be a big blow, believe it or not, if Jalen Johnson isn't healthy at the beginning of the year.
The interesting thing about the Bears, and I know every team is going through this a little bit because we're talking about this for the Bears and the Packers and the Raiders, having depth of positions we didn't think we had. Like we have a lot more depth at wide receiver than we thought we had in Chicago. Same at running back, it looks like, right? Cornerback, but they keep bringing in corners and running backs in Chicago on these little look-see deals, and it's like
Green Bay's doing the same thing with fucking running backs too for some reason. Like we already have a log jam. Why the hell are you adding more guys to it when we already have guys that are going to be on the bubble that are good players?
I'm wondering though, like when teams do that, is it maybe they're trying to mask someone they're going to cut and try to keep on the practice squad? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. But like the Bears, yeah, they keep bringing in corners. Terrell Smith was in year 2, of course. It looks like he might miss all of year 2. And look, these injuries happen whether you have a preseason game or it's a practice.
Right.
So like our one fellow Bear fan who was all really irate that players are playing.
Damian Hernandez.
I don't know what you're going to do. Put these guys in a bubble and not let anyone touch them, or don't let them practice until week 1. I don't know. But we got 1 week of camp, of preseason football left. Then we get the big cut down next Tuesday.
Yep.
And then we have a week of practice and then games.
Yep.
I mean, we're almost there already.
I said during the preseason game with Zakikis' first quarter touchdown, first drive touchdown. I said, you know what, with this Alexander picking up and stuff like that, I'm like, well, Tyler Scott is probably out the door, but he picked it up too at the end of the game.
It didn't help him though that he muffed the first the kickoff. He muffed the kickoff,
right?
But then was great at wide receiver. Like, damn.
You know, speaking of Alexander, Woody, our old Alexander seems to still be dealing with the exact same issues he was dealing with in Green Bay. He's been out
being on a shitty team.
Yeah, he's been playing for the Bears. But no, he's missed quite a few practices, and it's supposedly that knee that he's had all the issues with. So it may have been a right move for Green Bay to just let him go like they did.
Now, are you a typical Green Bay Sheagle fan that, like, I had a friend that was a big Niners fan, and this is back then when Brandon Jacobs, everybody remembers Brandon Jacobs. He played for the Giants, and the Niners were looking for a running back, and they said, "Oh, my friend says, I would never want Brandon Jacobs on my team. Fuck that guy, blah, blah, blah." As soon as he gets traded to the Niners, now he's the biggest fucking fan of the Brandon Jacobs. Is that how you fans? Is that how you guys are? Like, you liked Alexander when he was there. He was a good cornerback, blah, blah, blah. Then he gets traded to another team, and he's like, you know what? He sucked when he was there.
No, if you listen to what I said right when it happened, I said I actually preferred to keep him since his money was already worked into the cap and it was worth the gamble.
Right.
My reason of bringing it up was it kind of proved me wrong of that we should have rolled the dice and that they were right in letting him go because this is the constant knee issue that he's been dealing with.
Here's the thing though with that. Is he really having the knee issue, or are they just playing games in Atlanta?
You mean in Baltimore?
Baltimore. I'm sorry. Yeah. Or are they just playing games in Baltimore? Because look, that's like, you don't want your week one opponent to know who's going to be out there per se. And hey, we can play a little foo-foo game right here. It's kind of the same thing with Jalen Johnson, because they wouldn't say what his injury is or whatnot. I mean, with some of these guys, I wonder if they're just like,
I get what you're saying about the smoke screen, but they came out right out and said that it was the knee that he's had issues with. So
because the guy obviously had to pass the physical to get signed.
Yep.
Oh, just because you can pass the physical doesn't mean that it's not going to flare up. Like, look at what we dealt with Bakhtiari. It almost sounds like it's the same thing.
Oh, John.
Is that you're getting a bunch of fluid that is going into the knee after a bunch of activity.
Maybe. hey, look at what you got to just deal with Dorn. Dorn.
Hey, everybody knows I don't like Caleb Williams. It's my name and Caleb Williams shouldn't be in the same fucking sentence ever.
Hey, Dorn.
Dorn is too busy drinking the deer piss he uses to mark areas.
That's what Joe. Is that what Joe drinks? Is Schlitz? And Natty Ice.
Hey, Dorn, can you tell me what kind of a bust Caleb Williams is?
Oh God, here we go. That's four comments right there.
I'll go Joe's route when he talks about his tight end, Hall of Fame type.
No,
hey, you know what? Hey, you know what, Joe? I'm gonna let you know, right? Is that I have 7 fantasy leagues. 5 of them are keepers. 4 of them I'm keeping Brock Bowers as one of my players. So. You know I love you, Joe. I want you to keep one of the Bears, too, on your team as well. It's to show the love back.
So, we talked yesterday about trades. Michael Parsons, Trey Hendrickson, Scary Terry. Scary Terry, there was almost a deal with Pittsburgh, I guess, but Pittsburgh shot it down. They didn't like the compensation. I guess the player they wanted. It might have been Hayward is what they wanted.
Fucking nuts.
It makes sense, though. It makes sense if I'm Washington to trade Scary Terry outside of the conference, right? That makes complete sense. I understand that. So looking at destinations, another team that could really be, and we talked about this last night on Open Mic for Driving to the Top.
Don't say it.
The Tennessee Titans.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Oh, God. Why do you hate Scary Terry so much?
No, I don't. That's the thing. Look at the Tennessee Titans through week 8 last year, #1 defense in the league. They have a phenomenal defense.
Yep.
Their big issue last year was quarterback play. Now their best receiver is basically a cast off from Seattle, right? I mean, he's not bad, but Tyler Lockett's not going to tear the world up.
And he's not who he used to be at all.
But you give them Scary Terry with Lockett and Cam at quarterback, and who's to say Cam is not going to have a good rookie year? Look, at all he has to do as a rookie is not go 3 and out every drive, not give short fields to opposing teams' offenses. If they do that, they're going to win games because of that defense, and they're going to keep that defense somewhat fresh, not wore out like a bad hooker or a very busy hooker on a Friday in Green Bay by the
Wow, and like hookers, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like it's coming from experience, man.
No, that's from the book of John Dorn. But anywho, if they were to make a trade for Scary Terry, instead of give up a first rounder, they got a plethora of offensive linemen, give up an offensive lineman and a first rounder, they could land Scary Terry possibly. That would make sense, and that would shake up that AFC South, which basically right now the Texans are just going to win by default.
Well, Ken, my question to you is: say if you're GM of and I'm still fucking saying it, the Redskins. Sorry, but it's a huge bust. Yep, I knew that was coming. So I'm waiting for 3 more comments too. Anyway, if you're a GM of the Redskins right now and you're fighting for that division, and you have a pretty good chance, Eagles lost a lot of players. I would be so ecstatic if they don't win that division.
It sounds like they're trying to sell them, though.
What would you do to sign your #1 receiver for the last couple of years is Scary Terry? Even though he's older, I would still give him a little contract to keep his ass there.
I'm giving him a 3-year contract, and fucking the pen's lighting on fire with how fast I'm signing that.
I mean, look, I don't necessarily disagree with you guys, but the problem they have with, Trey Hendrickson, similar situation. With Trey Hendrickson, they've agreed on the term and the money, but Cincinnati doesn't want to give him any guaranteed money past 2025. So that's the problem with these older guys is the guarantee is what they're after, right? And they're not going to get it. But you send Scary Terry to a team like, Nashville. Now they're cooking with something in a division that they can win. With that defense, if they have even a somewhat competent offense, they can win that division because, look, the Texans are overrated. They're not that great of a team. They showed it again last year that they're not all that in a handbasket, but it makes sense. That's a team where if you're going to move on from the guy, you send them. If you're Washington, you're right, Woody. You try to re-sign this guy because without him, I don't know if you're a playoff team.
Yeah.
No, even though they signed Deebo Samuel and stuff like that, Deebo Samuel, everybody thinks he's washed up. Listen, I don't care if you're a San Fran fan or a Green Bay fan like Ken. Oh, God. Anyway, Deebo Samuel, when Christian McCaffrey was hurt and George Kittle was hurt, Deebo was that offense because Ayuk doesn't want to be there at all. Deebo was that offense. So add him to Washington with that offensive-minded team. Deebo is going to help that team out, but you need another receiver like a Scary Terry to help him out. Seriously.
The issue with Deebo isn't that he's washed up or something like that. It's the outstanding injury history he has.
Well,
is he going to play more than a handful of games for you?
Yeah, but look at McCaffrey's injury last year for San Fran. Jordan Mason, obviously, everybody knows he filled in, and now he's with the Vikings. But are they going to rule Christian McCaffrey as an injury-prone because he was out for so long? Brisker for the Bears and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I think Deebo helped that offense. I really do.
But you got to
figure the offense or be the guy leading it. I don't know.
Hey, just real quick. Dorn said that Green Bay hookers don't tire because sheep have better stamina.
Wow. Does Green Bay have sheep up there with all that? What do they have sheep up there, Ken?
It's not sheep, it's cows, damn it.
Oh, okay. So you get milk. Okay, I got you. Okay, you're milking the nipples.
Yeah, you got to give the cow the nice reach around too.
Jesus
Oh.
Christ. Here we go.
Jesus. We've gone off the
There
deep
we
end.
go. Ken
So,
likes to
so
reach around.
look at, we're like what, just over 2 weeks out from the
Yeah.
season. Something's got to happen with these three guys. Micah Parsons, they got to figure that out down there in Dallas, because I get the whole they're under contract thing. But at the end of the day, if these guys aren't going to play, they're not going to play. And I think it's stupid they don't play because of the money they lose.
But
some guys are like, look at Micah Parsons. Like, I've got a couple, I've got more money in my bank account than anyone in my family's ever had in their bank account. I can live off this for the rest of my life. And he's not wrong. He could. So for him, these guys can make that principled stand if they so desire. We all look and go, man, that's stupid. Oh, you're losing $20 million. You're losing this, that. But they're like, dude, I've got $40 million in the bank. I'm good.
Hey, sometimes you got to play hardball to get what you deserve, or
But
what
dude,
you think you deserve.
you do got to respect these players though, because remember how people, how people are, these players are holding out. Some of these players are holding in. They're still working out with the team, hoping they're going to stay with their team. Now, Cincinnati, their offensive, Jesus, Jamar Chase, I would take him over JJ any day of the week and twice on Sunday. So their offense is set. Their defense, he led the league in sacks last year. I would definitely do something with him, but you got to respect him for holding in, not holding out.
I think with Trey Hendrickson, my feel on that is that, look, they got the term, they got the money. It's a guarantee. I have a feeling both will give a little bit of bend, neither will break, but they'll kind of meet somewhere like, okay, if it's a 3-year deal, we'll give you half of it guaranteed, not just 2025. So part of 26, and then maybe it'll end up being something like that, somewhere close to that. I think they'll get something done in Cincy with Henderson, because that deal of the 3 seems like the closest, right? That's just what it seems. Like, they've already agreed, like, yeah, we want to pay you X amount of dollars. I want to make that money. And we want to keep you for these many years. Yeah, I agree. That's the right amount of time. But we only want to guarantee 1 year. Oh, nope, sorry, that's where you lose me. Okay, we can fix that. They can maybe work that. I think they will work that. But for Micah Parsons, it sounds like a really nasty divorce. He's gone out and hired his team of attorneys to divorce. I mean, also now making accusations how Jerry's trying to do contract negotiations without an agent present, blah, 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 and all that other good stuff. And Jerry, well, being Jerry. And then you got the Redskins. Good morning, Mitch. The Redskins, which is interesting because no one's saying anything on either side of that, on that coin. Like, that is all. You really haven't heard much about Scary Terry's situation, except for last night that they had an offer that they had sent to the Steelers to trade him, and that the Steelers said no. And no one knows why they said no, but I think the Steeler fans that I talked to last night seem to think it was like because they wanted one of the Haywards, and that was a no-no.
Either that, or maybe it was the contract that Scary Terry wanted. The Steelers weren't willing to pay that much for him either. Because you got to assume this is going to be a trade and sign deal.
The Steelers have the money. That wasn't the problem. I think it was compensation. It was the compensation.
Can you imagine DK on one side and Scary Terry on the other side? What the fuck?
Yeah, Aaron might rethink.
His 1 year deal.
Yeah.
Bus, Jordan Love, bus, Caleb Williams.
I guess that's Mitch's
Jared's off. Jared's off.
Yeah.
Hey, at least, Jared Goff, at least he's more mobile than Caleb. I always want to see Jared Goff out in the open running. Hopefully he doesn't trip over the 10-yard line like Daniel Fumbles does.
One thing I could see happening with Terry, if they don't get him traded soon, is like he'll hold out until week 10 and then he'll come back to accrue his time for the season. Yeah. And then he'll try to go and be a free agent next year. But then Washington franchise tags him and they'll get that one last good.
That doesn't make sense, Joe. Why would you franchise tag him at that age?
Yeah.
Well, because let me explain. So on a 3-year deal, he's going to get a significant amount of guaranteed money, right? Like,
maybe.
And you don't want. It seems like the Commanders don't want to take the risk that the bottom falls out on his talent, that he stops being productive. But if he goes in, let's say he plays the last 7 games or whatever, so he accrues time for the season now, and he's productive. Now he's going to want to leave. You franchise tag him, you get 1 year, and you're paying him a top 5 average salary. You're not paying him $35 million a year. You're paying him. I don't know what the franchise tag would be for next year at wide receiver. You could look that up.
Probably
But
close to
you get
30.
that.
Week 9 is a good year, by the way.
But you get that 1 year, and then you can let him walk after that. But it's like you basically you maximize the amount of productivity that you get out of him without any of the risk that comes with a 3-year contract.
While Ken looks that up, Joe, I want to ask you something because I like to hear your beautiful voice. So, what is your how did your reactions on Genty? How he's doing so far?
It's kind of so against Seattle, he had like 3 carries for like -3 yards or 4 carries for -3 yards. Seattle did a really good job of getting into the backfield. Like our offensive line didn't do a very good job that game. Against the Niners, the offensive line played a lot better, and Genty trucked fools. So I really don't know, man. Like you can't really base it off the preseason anyway. But
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I liked what I saw against the Niners. The way he ran over Lenoir, like I liked his aggressiveness. I liked his vision. He broke off some decent runs. His second effort was good. Like when they were able to get, hit him either like right at the line of scrimmage, he was able to break off and still drag him for like 3 or 4 yards. Like, so I'd like to see what he can do with 20 carries in a game.
Gotcha.
So here's the 2026 numbers aren't out yet, obviously, but here was the 2025 franchise tags. Quarterback was 40.2 mil. Running back was 13.6. Wide receiver was 13 or 20. Wide receiver was 23.9. Tight end was 13.8. Offensive line was 23.4. Now, for wide receiver specifically, it looks like for the last couple years, through 2 seasons, from 23 to 24, 24 to 25, they went up about 2. So you could probably figure next year's going to be about a $26 million tag. Quarterback will be about a $43 million tag. Running back will be about a $15 million tag. Tight end will be about a $14 million, just over 14, about 14.5 or so. Offensive line will probably be up around 25, 26. Those have been really going up the most.
And Ken, what did you say about a quarterback, Ken?
43.
Quarterback at 25 was 40.2.
Okay,
Now,
so Daniel. All right, so Daniel Jones still has a bigger contract. That's good. So it makes sense.
Yep.
He does. So Ken, I want to ask you specifically off Bears news. What do you think about? I don't know if you guys talked about this yesterday. Daniel Jones and Joe Flacco named starters already. What do you think about that for their teams?
Well, kind of knew both were kind of coming. Well, Flacco, you knew was coming. Flacco, I think we knew that it was coming the day he signed with Cleveland, that he was going to be the starter. I mean that was assumption I think a lot of people made. So that one's not as surprising. Danny Dimes being the starter
doesn't surprise me.
It is not surprising because no one figured Hendrickson would make it to the season. Richardson. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
No one figured Richardson would make it to the season because the dude's been injured like the second he steps on any field ever. But what's more surprising in terms of the Colts is that they put all their eggs in that basket. And I feel sorry for the Colts because not only does Jim Irsay die, now one of his oldest daughters running the team, and she inherits this freaking mess. And she's got to deal with a team that's in total disarray, that has been trying to figure out the quarterback situation ever since Andrew Luck said, you know what, I'm out, deuces. I'm tired of being in Indianapolis. And they've been in quarterback hell ever since. They tried Phillip Rivers at the end of his career. They tried Matty Ice. Nothing's worked. Their best year they've had has been Minshew, right? Yeah. And they'll have him walk to the Raiders, and he was putrid there. But, I mean, I think she's just like, in a way, she's like, thank God, Danny Dimes, we can get this guy in the league. We can win 2 games this year, go get Manning, and start this from scratch because we got bamboozled on Richardson, which everyone in the league knew it except for the GM who needs to be fired. And maybe Dad is the one who wanted that pick. But, Richardson had this really great combine and went from like a second to third round talent to a first round pick. Are you kidding me? talent doesn't change at the combine that much, but according to Indianapolis, it did. And the guy was a health concern coming into the draft, and they like just ignored everything and said, "Yep, that's our franchise." Well, your franchise sucks now because he's always hurt. So,
Wow.
not.
I was gonna say, sounds like another GM that I know that has a fetish for injured players.
I don't know, man. Like, but I do see them, the Colts having a real possibility of finishing in the absolute basement of the league and picking number 1 overall.
Yeah,
I don't know if Arch is going to come out because Arch still has like 2 more years of eligibility.
I can't wait to that first game, Texas Ohio State. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. But yeah, I agree with you, Joe. I don't know if Manning's coming out. Don't know.
There's some dumpster fires in the AFC because like even Miami's a dumpster fire right now. And it's weird because like with the Bears last year, we watched the wheels come off and everything happened in such a spectacular fashion with the wheels coming off that 10-game skid, right? Where we just found new and interesting ways to lose every week. Miami's been doing that over the last 2 years in a slower way. You've been watching this team disintegrate before your eyes. And honestly, I know a lot of people who don't expect Miami to do anything but finish in the basement. And so Miami could be, Miami or Indianapolis could both be vying for that number 1 pick.
Well, Ken, I want to take your choice of words. The way the Bears went down last year, I wouldn't say it's spectacular, but yeah, I'll yeah.
Oh, no, it was a spectacular train wreck. It was a spectacular train wreck.
Right.
I mean, we watched everything you could do wrong. Look at the Bears. Yeah. Anything that could go wrong for the Bears pretty much went wrong. It was a spectacular show of the wheels just falling off, the engine, throwing a rod, everything falling apart in Chicago. I mean, but with Miami, you've been watching it over the last 2.5 seasons, and they act like, oh, hey, no, everything's fine here. No, it's not. Your defense is getting more and more depleted every year. Your offense is becoming less and less effective because while Tua is still good, and really he did okay last year injury-wise, but in the fourth quarter you can always count on Tua to throw a bad interception. And their coach last year, I love their coach. We look like he'd been hanging out at the Cleveland or on South Beach too much in between games. While he's sitting his vape pen on who knows what's in that vape pen on the sidelines.
TMT.
I mean, it's just he's that team. Like to me, it's just a big dumpster fire waiting to happen, and I can see them being a top, vying for the number 1 overall pick. And look at it, Miami's number 1. Manning comes out. Miami, great market to go to, nice weather, great for taxes. He would go to Miami. Would he go to Indianapolis? I mean,
maybe because of the pedigree.
Not with a Penn State tight end. No fucking way.
Hey, I liked Mark Brunell and all, but I definitely don't think he's a Hall of Fame type of quarterback. He was real good, but
and I didn't see Gruden's breakdown.
And Ken, you forgot to mention, Miami's a dumpster fire. Plus 2 is 1 hit away for ending his career.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows? I think at some point Tyreek Hill might get traded this year. Waddle is just—he's okay, but he's not as good as everyone says he is. He hasn't shown it. Mark Brunell, greatest coach. Oh my God! All right,
dude, whatever you're smoking, please, for the love of God, send it to me.
While we're talking about that division, though, let's talk about the Jags. The Jags are one of these weird teams that could be somewhat good or absolutely horrid this year.
I think they're boom or bust. They're either with that coach down there in Jacksonville that may or may not be this guy wearing a hat.
Duval.
Yeah, I just want to throw.
Oh my God! Now you're smoking crack.
Wow. Hey, Jack,
don't send that one to me.
Can you bring that comment again? I didn't see that. Holy Jesus Christ!
Hey, I just want to point out, how could you forget about Trent Dilfer, dude? Like Trent Dilfer. If we're talking about great quarterbacks, you better mention Trent Dilfer's name too.
Oh God!
He sat there and talked shit about Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Are you fucking kidding me? You got carried by your defense for your fucking Super Bowl. At best, and I mean at best, you were an average quarterback, and you're going to talk about two of the fucking greatest like that?
The thing about Jacksonville is this, though. They play in such a shitty division.
Yep.
Speaking of Kerry, let's not forget Kerry Collins, the great Penn Stater, right, Woody?
No. Hey, broski. I do gotta say this. Kerry Collins had the nicest fucking spiral that I ever seen thrown. Kerry Collins, even though he's from Penn State, greatest ball.
I'll tell you this, I agree with that. Of all the quarterbacks I've ever been on the field with to see like live and in person throw, I've never seen a quarterback throw a football as far with a tight freaking spiral like Kerry Collins.
Absolutely. Yep.
And he threw one of the nicest passes I ever saw in my life, dude, to Ronald Curry against Denver. Like in the snow, and Ronald Curry made a circus catch, but like it was just on the money, dude.
Yeah, Dorn,
so I'll give Kerry Collins his respect.
Miami is a dumpster fire, and once again, Dorn misses the whole argument because it's.
I don't know necessarily if I'd call him a dumpster fire, but I will say it's starting to smolder. It's starting to smolder.
Yeah, they're becoming one because they keep finding. Look at the expectations 2 years ago. We were like, they're going to win this division. They could win this division. Now, like they're an afterthought in that division because they keep finding ways to lose poorly, and their defense keeps getting depleted. They haven't done a good job of replenishing it. Look at the preseason. Their ones are getting schooled by everyone in joint practices. Their 2s, 3s, and 4s are getting schooled by everyone in preseason games. They really, as a team, there's something wrong with that franchise. There's something wrong with Miami. They do have some talent. Don't get me wrong, but they are just slowly. We're watching them slowly decline while saying everything's fine, guys. No, it's not. Everything is not fine in Miami.
I hear you with that. I mean, that team's on the verge of just blowing up this season, honestly. And I didn't catch the beginning of the show or the first half of the show. Did you guys touch on what the Packers offered for Micah Parsons?
No, we did not. Go ahead and let us know.
So that's actually out there. What the Packers offered. They offered 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and a 5th-round pick, and Jerry Jones turned it down. Now, the asking price for Trey Hendrickson's also out there, which is much lower. It's a first-round pick and a young defensive player that obviously does not have to be a defensive end.
And Tom Brady 12 there. If you come on the afternoon show in about an hour or so, that one's more of an open mic style. You're more than welcome to come on. This one we generally run with just the panel.
What was the Trey? Yeah, we were talking about Trey yesterday, where it's a first round and a young defensive player, and I even said, well, hey, I'd almost be willing to give up Booker in a first round.
Oh my God, Ken, Jesus!
Almost,
Stevenson, man.
Almost, Woody, almost. Not that I would.
I'll tell you what.
Almost.
A first-round pick and Tyreek Stevenson for Trey Hendrickson? Yes, please. Yes, I would do that in a heartbeat.
What I would do for Micah Parsons, 2 first-round picks and Tremaine Edmonds, see you. Welcome to Chicago. We'll give you any number you want.
Okay, well, we'll still offer those 2 first rounds, the second round, and a player.
Nah, 2nd and 5th round, they always suck.
Trey Hendrickson, I mean, I don't know if Stevenson, like, look at Broski, I know you hate him, but we're so depleted at corner. I don't know if I'd offer a corner to get my edge.
Well, I'm just saying they said a talented young player. He's definitely talented.
What about Dio? Or Dio, however you say his name.
Oh, yeah.
I would do that. Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat.
We haven't seen Dio play yet, so in a way, it's kind of like we may be screwing up, but at the same time, like, he's an $8 million contract. I mean, the Cincinnati would love that.
Yeah.
So,
the only
Deo?
Yeah, I mean, I would do that. The only thing is, I just think right now, Tyreek Stevenson is definitely cheaper. I mean, they would have to make a decision in a year, or if they're going to extend them. But yeah, I would do Dale in a first round, Tyreek in a first round. I'm game.
Yeah. I mean, Cam, I said I would almost think about Booker, but Booker looks like he's taking that step. So I'm keeping.
I almost had a fucking heart attack, Ken, when you said that. Jesus Christ.
sometimes, Cam, you do it just for reaction you get out of Woody, okay?
Right.
Because like, I think
What do you,
Booker,
do you want me to take a drive down and bring you a nitro?
Yeah,
Booker's
drive.
gonna be that, I think Booker's going to be that guy at defensive end here in the next year or two. Like, he is the future for sure. The way he's trending right now, the Bears have their next great defensive end already in the building. I love that. But Trey Hendrickson, if they want a defensive player, we got a couple that we could send that way. I don't know if I would do Tyreek Stevenson because we're kind of short there right now. If I could get rid of Tremaine, because Sewell looks like he's actually playing well this year, and Hippolyte is there as well. But I don't know if Cincinnati wants to swap out a big contract for a big contract with a guy who's not really young. He doesn't meet the young factor piece. You might have to give up, but hey, maybe I can say, well, look how great Sewell's been doing in preseason. What if I give you Sewell in the first round? Or maybe I can get him to go for that, or maybe I don't think I give up on Hippolyte. I just drafted him.
No.
But, I mean, there's possibilities there. The Packers taking that big swing, though, that they took, very unlike them. But that also tells you something about Green Bay, right? They know they need to do something. They know they need to make a big move to get there.
And Ken, it also makes me wonder about the Lions. I mean, I still can't. I just don't understand this team. Like, you're supposedly like on the Super Bowl contenders. You have a Super Bowl
drunk
window.
On the Kool-Aid.
You sit on $40 to $50 million in cap space going into each season. I don't. Yes, you won't be able to resign all your young players. Yes, you've done a good job drafting and you have some good young players. And yes, you won't be able to resign all of them. Dude, they should be the ones going for Trey Hendrickson or Michael Parsons. I'm sorry. Like, they really should be doing this.
But they're so drunk on the Kool-Aid that they've been making up there. They're so drunk on their own product that they can't see
they really are.
I give Green Bay a lot of credit for making that offer for Micah, because that's very telling of Green Bay. Like, Gutekunst knows they needed to make a big swing and get a big move to really put themselves in a position this season. And that would do it. And he was willing to do it. And it's so uncharacteristic of Green Bay. So the fact that that's out there, if you're a Green Bay fan, that's positive. I don't know what that means for their season this year, what they really think of their team. But the fact that he's willing to make a move like that says a lot.
Well, good point. And I think it is too. It's like very rare you have like two absolute game changers, game wreckers that are available right now. I mean, and yes, it is very uncharacteristic of Green Bay to do that.
Yeah, it makes me believe that the talk that Goody had about, the usual bullshit of go all in type of thing, that he's actually taken this to heart a bit more, because we saw last year he added in Jacobs and McKinney. This draft, he added in a first-round receiver, and he's involved with the Micah Parsons trade. Shit, I'm fucking ecstatic as a Packers fan, watching for many years with Ted Thompson just sitting on his hands and collecting the offseason trophy award of having the most cap space available.
What was the trade offer again? First, a second, and what else?
And
it was two firsts, a second, and a fifth.
Jerry should have took that.
Yeah, he should have.
Well, hey, that doesn't mean the offer's off the table.
Well, here's the bad thing about trading with the NFC North. I don't think any of the NFC North teams are top 15 pick this year for next year's draft. So if you're Jerry and you make that trade, that first rounder really next year is, somewhere between 25 and 32, right? Is probably what he's thinking. And it's the same thing if you trade maybe to the Bears or to the Vikings or to the Lions. Because Micah Parsons would be big enough that they could all probably make it the divisional round or the NFC Championship game. So you figure, okay, that compensation isn't like I'm getting a top end blue chip guy to replace Micah in the draft. I think
it should be freeing up some cap space too by getting those picks. You know what I mean? And
it could, but they don't.
Yeah,
you're right there, but. Look at this is where I like where Chicago gets no respect. If Chicago made the same offer, kind of like with the Khalil Mack deal, I bet Jerry would take it because he would figure, the Bears they're not going to get the pick. Well, that's what the Raiders figured when they traded Khalil Mack to the Bears when they had the same exact offer as Green Bay, and it worked out worse for them because the Bears won the division that year, and the Packers would have been had the better pick. When they play these little games like that, I think if the Bears made the same offer, they take it. So the question for Bears fans: would you give up 2 firsts, a second, and the 5th round for Micah Parsons?
Yep.
I was gonna say shit. As a Packers fan, I'm hoping, begging, and pleading that Jerry's fucking Geritol kicks in a little bit and he gets a little clear head and says, "Holy fuck, you know what? I'll get rid of this guy and trade him for this compensation since we're not getting this deal done."
Or let me throw this out there. And I'll throw this to Joe because it's going to directly affect him. If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm like, dude, you're in the NFC. Fuck you. But the Raiders offer the same pick. I think Jerry does it because it's an AFC team. What do you think, Joe?
I think so, but I wouldn't offer that if I was the Raiders, specifically not because Micah's not worth it, but because the Raiders have bigger needs. Like we have to address our quarterback situation. Geno's only on a 3-year contract. We need to get the next guy in the building in the next 2 years, so we can afford to give up both of our firsts.
But look, if you add Micah with Max,
yeah,
dude, are you saying that defense would not be good enough and I think Geno is better than Rex Grossman. And I don't know if that defense would be 06 Bears defense good, but don't you think that defense and that with even confident play out of Geno with Pete Carroll as your head coach, you couldn't make a Super Bowl run this year?
I don't know about a Super Bowl run, but definitely a playoff run and possibly win the division. But the thing is we would be selling out. We would be going all in, but we would be forgetting about the future. And like, I'd rather not, only because I want to get the next quarterback in the building.
Would you rather have a Super Bowl or a franchise quarterback? A Super Bowl now or a franchise quarterback?
Okay, look, put it this way. If it was guaranteed that we were going to the Super Bowl, then I would obviously take Micah because I would take a Super Bowl over anything, dude. Like, I want to see just once. I want to see the Raiders lift the trophy before I die. But like, there's no guarantees, man. And I think the Raiders are still a year out from being a really a contending team. I think they need a year to see how the receivers we drafted this year turn out. We need to add some more, depth and talent to our secondary, to be honest with you. So I don't think they're there yet. If we could get them for, if we didn't have to give up 2 firsts, then I would be all for it. But I don't think Jerry's going to take anything less than 2 firsts. But the other thing that I was going to point out was that, like, for the Cowboys, Jerry should have taken that deal. And I'll tell you why. Because next year, the Cowboys are going to have a first-round pick. Plus, they would have Green Bay's first-round pick. Plus, they would have a second-round pick. You could package either the Cowboys' first-round pick in that second or the Packers' first-round pick in that second and move back up into the first round, probably early with a second. You could move up quite a bit, and you could go get your Micah Parsons replacement, still have another first-round pick and another first-round pick the following year. You could do a lot of damage with that.
Joe, could you do me a favor and call Jerry Jones and tell him this?
No,
yeah, like Jerry's going to listen to me. Right?
If you're Jerry Jones, or who was your last playoff loss?
The Packers.
And who's the team that you can't seem to beat in the playoffs ever?
Yeah, I get it. Maybe that's the reason why you said no.
I mean, the Packers might as well be the Philadelphia Eagles in this trade scenario. Because there's no way Jerry's doing it.
I was going to relate Jerry Jones to an ex-president. So, like, I don't know if Jerry Jones can find his way off stage right now. The people in the Cowboys office might want to get that auto pen set up and start so they can start accepting some of these insanely good deals for the Cowboys.
Hey, look at the Baltimore's an option in the AFC. They got their name keeps getting brought up.
Good Lord, could you imagine him going to Baltimore, dude? See, in Baltimore is a situation where they're already set at quarterback. Like, you put Micah Parsons on Baltimore, like, they have to be the Super Bowl favorites, dude.
No, we just don't need that in the league.
I'm just saying. Does anybody here disagree that they would immediately become like the Super Bowl favorite?
And the thing is they're already in that conversation. This would definitely alter that huge. Micah Parsons, I don't think if he gets traded outside the NFC. I think Jerry's going to be steadfast on this. I think Trey Hendrickson, if he gets traded out of the AFC. I think these kinds of guys, GMs want them out of the conference. They're like, I don't want to trade Scary Terry and then possibly have to see him in the playoffs. I don't want to trade Micah and have to see him in the playoffs in a regular season game. I don't want to trade Trey and have to see him in a regular season game if I don't have to. And so that's bad for the NFC North this year because we play Cincy. These guys want to trade them and then not have them come back and be like, good luck, and if we see you in the Super Bowl, great, but whatever. I mean, Jerry, though, I wouldn't trade him to Green Bay. I wouldn't trade him to Philly, Washington, the Giants. I wouldn't trade him to the Bears. I wouldn't trade him to San Francisco. I wouldn't trade him to any NFC team except for maybe NOLA because they suck so bad. They're going to suck no matter what. So, I mean, you can get Micah Parsons and they're still going to suck. So that might be a place NOLA, I know I'm going to get a great draft pick. But NOLA's not going to make that trade because they know they're going to suck and they got to build for the future. So, I mean, if I'm Jerry, I'm looking to the AFC. If I'm out there in Cincy, I'm looking to the NFC to trade Trey if I'm going to trade him. A guy like that, you don't want to see right away. You don't want to see him in the regular season. You definitely don't want to see him if you think you're going to make the playoffs. So, if odds are, if you're Dallas, you could see Green Bay in the playoffs. You really want to trade Micah Parsons and have him.
If Micah Parsons comes off Dallas, do you really think they're a playoff team this year?
I don't think they're a playoff team this year anyways, but that doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what Jerry thinks, and Jerry thinks he's a playoff team every year.
I guarantee you Jerry thinks they're a playoff team.
Yep. So, I mean, what we think is irrelevant. Jerry thinks they have a playoff caliber offense, and they have a really good defense. If they lose Micah, as long as they're probably going to be okay. Is probably what he's thinking. That's why he's dilly-dallying on this thing with Micah. He's like, the rest of this team is good enough to get me where I need to go. I don't need Micah. So if he can cash in and still be as good as he thinks he is, he's fine. It's a calculated risk, but he's a big risk taker, always has been. So I just don't think he'd trade him to Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit, any team in the NFC. As much as all our fans would salivate and love it, but the thing that is more noteworthy for me in this whole conversation is that Green Bay made that offer. Because that is so not like Green Bay. I can't remember the last time they made a trade offer of consequence like that. It's been decades. That's a huge sign. It says a lot about maybe the pressure that Green Bay is feeling from the rest of the division, catching up talent-wise or surpassing them talent-wise, or where Green Bay sees itself in the division that I still think this year is I just say flip a quarter. Because this division is, if everyone is playing the potential, this is a ridiculous division that could send 3 or 4, or last place could be 9 wins, and it could be Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota. Take your pick for top and bottom because it's a very close division. Mike would be their separator and actually make them a legitimate Super Bowl contender, which right now I don't think they are. When people talk about the North being Super Bowl contenders, they say, well, the Lions are Super Bowl contenders and the other teams are really good and might make the playoffs. That would change that a lot. And Green Bay does not like to be thought of as second fiddle, even within the division. And the fact that everyone's talking about Minnesota and the Vikings over Green Bay, I get why Goody's, and it's good on Goody to think that and to do it. And to maybe do something. Look at last year, they signed 2 big free agents, not a normal Green Bay thing. For the first time in 2 decades, they draft a wide receiver this year. Now they make this big, huge swing at Micah Parsons. The last time they took a big, huge swing was 2018 when they tried to get Khalil Mack. It didn't work out. They didn't get him. The Bears did. But before that, what was the last big swing? They don't take them often.
I think Jerry might be holding out because he might be thinking, like, he might not want to trade him to Green Bay, but if the price is right, like you'll trade him wherever. I think he might be thinking, look, if they'll give up 2 firsts, a second, and a fifth, they'll give up 3 firsts. And he's like, I think he might just be waiting by the phone, like for Green Bay to say, all right, look, dude, we'll give you 3 firsts.
That fifth, they turn into a third or fourth.
Something to ponder for tomorrow because we're out of time for the day. Don't forget, with the MMA show on at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We got Hallis Hall at 7. JB's Roundtable at 8 or 8:30, depending what time he goes tonight. Full day. We'll keep an eye out on these trades and see if the Packers try to make that trade happen. Everyone have a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.